Here, Barry Windham is a great wrestler, but you see, greatness in another wrestler is what really makes the best come out of me. I thrive on competition. I thrive on being called the greatest, and to be the greatest, Buddy Colt, you got to wear this right here. Now, Bill, put that camera down on this. This is the World Heavyweight Championship belt, owned, operated, and manipulated by Ric Flair, the world's heavyweight wrestling champion. So, Barry Windham, you know you got your work cut out for you, just like any other wrestler in the world today. You got 60 minutes to show me and to show everybody else that you're a better man or you're an inferior man. When I get in that ring, Buddy Colt, you know that I go 120%. I pride myself on being in the best condition of any wrestler alive. Barry Windham's a great one, but he's going to have to be the greatest to beat Ric Flair. Like I've said so many times before, to be the man, you got to beat the man. In this case, I'm the man. Barry Windham, if you want to wear this, brother, and I'm talking about $35,000 worth of gold, silver, diamond, and rubies, you got to beat me. Let's see you do it.
You know, Rick, you have to look at the speed, youth, and determination of Barry Windham. Right now, he has everything to gain and nothing to lose. By him becoming the world's heavyweight champion would be the greatest thing in the world for him and his father, Blackjack Mulligan. And right now, you have everything in the world to lose and nothing to gain except to retain your title.
Well, buddy, that's the way it is every night I get in the ring. I defend this title over 300 times a year against the best wrestlers in the world, and it's true. Barry Windham comes from one of the great wrestling families of professional wrestling. His father, Blackjack Mulligan, one of the greatest contenders of all time. Now his younger brother, Kendall Windham, I believe the Florida heavyweight champion, and on his way up the ladder, probably within the next year or so, I may have to wrestle him. That tells you that I plan on beating Barry Windham tonight. I plan on coming back to Florida as the world heavyweight champion. And ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, you're looking at the greatest wrestler alive today. So Barry Windham, grab your best hold, buddy. I'll be out in that ring shortly.
Well, Rick, you know, I have to agree with you completely. During my time as a wrestler, I have wrestled 5 different world's heavyweight champions. I've never wrestled you, but I will say that watching you in the ring wrestle, you are the greatest wrestler of all time.
Well, thank you very much, buddy Cole. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, it's great having you with me here. Okay, we'll be right back with the next match after this.
Match, 1 fall, 1 hour time limit for the NWA World Heavyweight title. Your principals involved. The challenger, he is in blue trunks at a weight of 245 pounds, hails from Sweetwater, Texas, and he is one of the leading contenders for the World Heavyweight crown, Barry Windham. His opponent, he is wearing a green robe at a weight of 246 pounds. Hailing from Charlotte, North Carolina, he is 3 times and the present World Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Ric Flair.
The NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Ric Flair, in that $35,000 belt. And, of course, it's for all the gold coming up. It's all the gold on the line. And we'll be back with this World Heavyweight Championship match. the gold, the prestige, and literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in the future. As we say, we'll be back, and this match will be getting underway in 122 seconds. There's the bell. There's the bell, and the referee very quickly putting that belt to one side, displaying it in a quick handshake between the champion Ric Flair and the challenger Barry Windham. It's Windham very quickly getting a side headlock, and Flair powered him off. Barry Windham catches him. Good shoulder smash, leapfrog by Flair and Flair. Good counter by Barry Windham. Gets the high hip tuck. Windham has him up. A full body slam. And Windham is fired up. And Mike, you've been there before. What does it feel like the minute the bell rings when you know you're going up against the world champion?
Your blood's flowing so hard, the adrenaline's pumping so fast, you got cold chills all over your body. You're like a stick of dynamite getting ready to blow up. And in that particular case, you had Barry at 250 pounds of dynamite ready to blow up, and Flair on the receiving end.
And Flair very quickly outside of that ring, and once again trying to slow the pace of this attack by Barry Windham. Flair, of course, who travels, this man is airborne almost all the time, defending that title against the very finest challengers all over the world. And I think his travel schedule alone would destroy the average person.
I tell you, he does spend a lot of time on the road, but I know for a fact he's in the gym training every day. The days he has off, he's working out. To be the world's champion the way he is, you've got to train every day. You never have a day off. You might have a day you don't wrestle in the ring against another wrestler, but you never have a day off.
High top wrist lock now between the world champion Ric Flair in the green trunks and Barry Windham in the blue trunks. Windham from Sweetwater, Texas. Ric Flair now making his home in Charlotte, North Carolina. Flair out of the University of Minnesota. Barry Windham out of West Texas State. And it's Windham taking the advantage on that high top wrist lock. It was Windham, and I think that extra height really helped him in leverage.
Possibly so. You know, you do have some leverage advantage when you're taller like that. Talk about traveling. Now, Barry just returned a couple days ago from Japan. We had a very successful tour for the last 5 weeks. And coming from making that trip across the big pond is hard on you, too.
No question about the factor of jet lag, but I am sure that Windham understood his itinerary and didn't feel that it was going to be a hindrance here tonight. Whether it will be or not still remains to be seen, but watch Flair. Flair, the master craftsman in the ring. Goes for that side headlock. Reverses, goes around. Good series of chain moves there as he comes into the hammer. Good reversal by Barry Windham in behind his man. Look at Flair. Lateral drop into that old float over the body. And a good reversal again by Windham.
Windham coming in, feeling his man floating a little too high on him. Rick with a lot of confidence, taking him down, going for the head like we saw in one of the earlier matches. Same thing, world caliber class or not world caliber class. If you make a mistake, it's going to turn around on you. I've been in the ring with Ric Flair more than one time, and I'll tell you, you never know what he's going to do. You never know where he's coming from. It's hard to tell when he's tired, and it's hard to tell when he's hurt.
3 times NWA World Heavyweight Champion, no question about it. And he follows a line of great champions. Harley Race, certainly Jack Briscoe, Dory Funk Jr., and it is Flair with some real problems now as Barry Windham, the young challenger, has been moving extremely effectively against him.
Best way, I think, for Barry to go after Ric Flair is just that, go after him. Not give him any rest, push him to the limit. Get a hold, keep him in control, and push him hard all the time. If you ever let the man rest, he's going to beat you.
Once again, if you've tuned in a little late, we're in the World Heavyweight Championship match, direct from the Eddie Graham Sports Stadium in Orlando, Florida. Barry Windham in the blue trunks, sizing his man up carefully, and neither man making any, good drop toe hold, and Flair comes up on the body. A good ride going. Windham turns into his man, tries to set out to escape, reverses nicely on the champion, and has the champion in the hammerlock.
Coming back up with that arm again. He keeps going back to the arm, going to the arm. That's going to be the key to this match, is being able to hurt Ric Flair.
And it appears that Barry Windham has already got a pretty hefty mat burn on that left arm.
You know, inside these ring ropes is steel cable. In the corners, a lot of time frays and things stick out of them. It's easy to get hurt in there. Pieces sticking up off the wood, pieces sticking up out of the ring. It's very dangerous. It looks like Barry could have received part of a steel cable or something stuck in the back of his arm, or a serious mat burn, one of the two.
And it is Barry Windham now keeping the pressure on the world champion Ric Flair. Of course, winning that world heavyweight champion can catapult you into a millionaire status in a very, very short period of time.
Rick pushing him into the corner, using the ropes to his advantage, knowing the referee's going to have to make him break.
Flair stands back, studies this man carefully. Barry Windham circles. Referee Bill Alfonso watching him carefully now. Neither man rushing foolishly, and it is Barry Windham now getting the side headlock.
Barry, of course, with the height and the youth. Rick with definitely the experience, and I would probably say a little stronger, a little physically stronger. Both men in tremendous physical condition, though.
Back up into those ropes once again, and the referee calls for the break. And so and watch the cautiousness with which Barry Windham is watching the world champion. Off the ropes.
Boy, that steel cable wrapping around your neck like that is very dangerous. Both men get sweaty. It's hard to keep your footing sometimes. Flair hitting those ropes. The sweat on his shoulders and neck, his head whiplashing against that steel cable. It's not enough that you have to wrestle another man, but you've got to put up with all the other things that can hurt you out there.
Flair, the champion, has been hurt. No question about it. He is hurt. How badly he's hurt, I don't know. Barry Windham closing in on him, and I must say, Windham was a real sportsman. He gave him the time to get some respite. And Flair, back on his feet, fired one at Barry Windham. And Windham, I think, really feels betrayed. I think he felt he was giving the champion a sporting chance. And Flair retaliated by catching him right in the chops.
That's what I said earlier. A lot of times Flair will play possum on you. You'll think he's hurt, and he really isn't. He's in too good a shape to ever give him a chance. When you have a chance to beat him, you got to beat him.
Rolling reverse, and Flair arguing with the referee, and Bill Alfonso not taking any of that from the world champion. All right, let's see what happens now as Flair standing there like a wounded bear.
He's dangerous when he's in the corner, though. He knows how to use the ropes and turnbuckles to his advantage. Barry needs to get him away from the ropes and get him out in the ring. He doesn't want to go after him in those ropes. Ric Flair's watched a lot of wrestlers have used the ropes to their strategy, and he knows how to do it the best.
Good hip lock takedown, but it's Barry Windham now with a head scissors on the world champion Ric Flair. And I would have to say that this is a very, very partisan crowd. They would like very much to see this young man from Sweetwater, Texas, Barry Windham, win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
We know Florida's kind of Barry's second home, of course, from Texas and West Texas State University, but he started his pro wrestling career here in Florida. And I know that he's had some of his toughest matches right here in Orlando. That's why the crowd is really supporting him. They're really after him. They'd like to see this title change hands, and they'd like to see Barry Windham get it.
Well, of course, Barry, if he wins that title, we'll be seeing him on rather rare occasions on Wednesdays at the Sportatorium where we normally televise our matches. It's Wednesday mornings at 10 o'clock at the Sportatorium, 106 North Albany in Tampa. But I'll tell you what, I would be glad to see him missing to have those rare returns if he was wearing that world title belt.
You know, that's exactly right. Every person, every athlete in the world trains to be the best in his field. I can imagine the glory and the happiness that the Chicago Bears felt when they won the Super Bowl, and I can imagine how good Barry Windham would feel winning the world's heavyweight title right here tonight.
Look at the way Flair has him up now. Back hooking the legs, trying to get some leverage on the ropes. Windham bridging up, gets that shoulder off.
Barry up on his head, literally on his head, his feet stretched out, a high bridge, keeping his shoulders up off the mat.
And the referee forced to break in. That went very
They're trying to get him in the corner, trying to back him in those ropes, like I said earlier. I've been there before, and that's a dangerous place to be.
Brother, did Barry Windham fire back. He caught a chop, and it was Barry Windham firing back another chop into the throat and another into the throat. And now Windham pounding in some hard right hands to the side of the jaw of the champion. The champion started to stumble forward. As he did, Windham caught him. I'll tell you what, you can't take a thing away from this man, Ric Flair. 3 times NWA World Heavyweight Champion, an outstanding athlete. And I've said it before about him, a man with a, if you will, born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Came from a very, very wealthy professional family. And he chose his one greatest love, and that is professional wrestling. Minnesota State amateur heavyweight champion. And it's Windham exploding again.
Windham, Barry trying to hook him. Looks like he's trying to get him in the Boston crab. Flair blocking him. Flair keeping him blocked. Barry tough after it, though. He's not going to quit that easy. He knows he's got Flair hurt. He can sense he's got him hurt. He's trying to turn him in. He's got him. He's got him in the Boston crab.
A full Boston crab, and the crowd is going absolutely wild right now as they can sense that Barry Windham is very close indeed to possibly making the NWA World Heavyweight Champion submit. Windham keeping the pressure on the champion. There's got to be intense pain coursing through his body right now, and he is desperately trying to inch his way over to those ring ropes. And that's about the only thing that can save him now, Mike.
Right now, that's about all that can save him, unless he can power out, unless he can catch Barry, take a breath, catch him relax, and he's got enough strength in his legs to straighten him out. But right now, I think he's going into the rope. He's going into the rope to break the hold. Just like a quarterback throwing the ball out of bounds, or you know, just like they do in all sports, there are ways to save time, and that's what Ric Flair did just then to save his title, is get into the ropes.
And Flair having a real problem getting up now. The result of that earlier situation with the ring ropes, and now this application of the full Boston crab. And Flair, the world champion, is in trouble, and now Barry Windham opens up one to the midsection. Windham now trying to set him for a high vertical suplex, brings him way, way up. And the lower back that's taken all of that punishment.
Could be it. Barry could be the new champion.
On the ropes. On the ropes once again, and as you said earlier, Mike, always know where you are in that ring. Flair utilized those ring ropes, and it saved him from a possible pinfall. It is a very beleaguered-looking champion.
The abdominal stretch. Barry tortured him. He's suplexed him. He's done everything. He's going in for that abdominal stretch, which makes it almost impossible to breathe. You can't believe it's like having your body twisted in half.
And Flair's face, a picture of agony now.
Flair needs to come out. He needs to get Barry's hands loose. Needs to get his hands or leg loose, one of the two.
What amazing tenacity this man has. Flair withstanding tremendous pain and still not conceding.
Of course, that's why he is the world's heavyweight champion. He didn't do it by giving up. He didn't do it by getting beat. He did it because he's a winner.
Flair up near the ring corner now. There, a guardrail. And so I'm beginning to note a bit of desperation here on the part of the world champion, Ric Flair. And Barry Windham still outside.
Barry down, I know the pain that he's in right now, the confusion, the pain, getting run into the steel railing, run into the post.
Brother, he's crawling his way back up there. Barry Windham, doggedly determined, coming back into that ring. And now Flair must be feeling a flash of confidence. Windham lacerated. Obviously, when he hit the steel outside, hit those stairs and came out of the ring.
Flair with that smile of confidence. Flair coming in with that smile of confidence. He thinks he's got Barry beat. Barry's matured a lot in the past few years. This isn't the first time he's been hurt. He's felt that pain before. He knows exactly the situation he's in.
And Barry Windham powers out right on the count of 2. Barry Windham showing just as much determination as the world heavyweight champion Ric Flair. He has been punished and punished severely, and yet he still has that tremendous intestinal fortitude to power away from a possible pinning combination.
Barry trying to get a little distance, trying to catch his wind. He knows he's got to get a little away from Flair. Flair will stay on him now, though, and haunt him like a ghost. He ain't going to give him any time to rest.
World champion Ric Flair back against the ropes. Down. He missed that time as Barry Windham.
He had Barry's head zeroed in. Barry laid just still enough to make Flair think he could get him, but moved at the last minute, crashing that knee into that hard ring.
Turnabout certainly was fair play. Wait a minute, Barry Windham.
Going for the figure 4.
Going for that figure 4.
Stepping up for the figure 4. Is he going to get it? He's got him hooked. He's got him hooked deep. He's got the figure 4. That's broken many a leg.
The world champion Ric Flair now trapped in that figure 4. And a 2 count.
Figure 4 submission hold, but Flair almost caught with his shoulders on the mat. The pain he's going through right now is just unbearable.
And it is Ric Flair again and again coming up on the count of 2. And Windham cinching down on that figure 4, putting even more pressure on. Tightening it and tightening it.
Looks like Ric Flair's been able to slide that one leg back and get his ankle on top of his leg, which gives him a little protection. If Barry could have got that leg all the way through, be no way. His leg would have been broken by now. Flair has been able to block it enough. Barry won't be able to break his leg from that position, but the pain is incredible.
And the crowd is all with this young fellow from Sweetwater, Texas, Barry Windham. Flair makes it to the ring ropes. He makes it to the ring ropes, and that will force the break. And so Ric Flair, battered by Barry Windham. And Barry Windham is telling him to come on. Come on out. And Flair in trouble. Windham grabs that leg and brings him back into the ring. Down across the thigh of the world champion Ric Flair. Barry Windham now really beginning to punish. And Mike, this battle has changed momentum now for the 4th time.
You know, that's right, Barry feels now. He's caught his 2nd win. Flair has punished him. He split his head open. Barry sees it. He's still got it going. He's got Flair in a lot of trouble now. It's just going to be a matter of who's in the best shape, who's the toughest man. That's the story now. Who is the toughest, Ric Flair or Barry Windham?
Referee Billy Alfonso checking once again now as Ric Flair. Now it's Barry Windham. Straddling the man and pounding away at his head. Flair all but out, and Barry Windham closes in again. This big youngster out of Texas giving Flair a dose of his own medicine. Flair is down.
Flair hurt. Flair is down. Barry needs to be on top of him.
A final desperate move by the champion is all that saved him from a pinfall that time. And again, Barry Windham just pounding away at the head of Ric Flair. And Flair
trying to get out of his way.
That eye may close up before this match is over. High hip toss by Barry Windham, and Windham
going for the drop kick. Flair moved out of the way. Barry having nothing to push off of, falling straight on his back. At a time like this in the match, they've been here over a half an hour, well over half an hour. That knocks the wind out of you terribly.
And Flair is taking a much-needed respite here for himself. He's having troubles with that leg after that application of the figure four. Barry Windham stunned now, had the wind knocked out of him. Flair trying to set him. Good block by Windham. Again, Windham blocking, and Windham takes him
deep
to
inside cradle. No, not strong enough to hold him. Blocked the suplex twice. In for the inside cradle. Not having the strength to hold him.
Snapmare again by the world champion Ric Flair. And it's Flair. The scissors across the throat and around the head of Barry Windham, the challenger.
And for the crooked head scissors, Flair has been hurt. Flair's been hurt. He's trying to get in there and rest. Trying to make Barry take care of his load.
This gives the champion a distinct advantage, in my opinion, at this stage of the match.
Oh, you're exactly right, because at this time, after wrestling almost 40 minutes, Barry needs all the air he can get. And Flair's cutting off his wind flow, cutting off his jaw. It's hard for him to breathe. It's hard to breathe anyway. But with him in there on him like that, it makes it even tougher.
And Flair is getting a chance to rest the upper body, whereas Windham has to struggle, fighting the weight of Flair and that scissors, plus the fact that those shoulders are down. He has to keep fighting against that. Windham turning into Flair. Now let's see if he can extricate himself. He does. He comes out of it. And now the situation is somewhat reversed, as Barry Windham is holding the advantage position.
25 minutes expired. 25 minutes expired.
They heard the
35 minutes remain in the world title.
And it's Barry Windham in that far corner in a lot of trouble as Flair continues to try and deplete the oxygen supply of Barry Windham. A chop into the throat.
Flair continually working on his oxygen supply. Hard chops to the chest, which again knocks the air out of you.
And Flair, again, this match changing momentum, and now it looks like Flair has things going his way. He has him deep now. Brings him up, trying to set him for that pile driver. Does indeed. And this may be all she wrote for Barry Windham. No, sir. No, sir. Tremendous second effort on the part of Barry Windham.
It appeared Barry got his shoulder up just a little bit before he was, in fact, able to kick out. He got it up just enough to stop that third count. Delayed enough to be able to kick out, or he could have been defeated right there. I'm sure Ric Flair's wondering right now exactly what happened. But from the remote camera angle, I could see he did get his shoulder up in time to stop the third count and then kicked out.
And I'm sure Flair must be wondering, too, what does it take to beat this young fella? Flair tried to get him to a backdrop, and now it is Barry Windham getting him into a backslide if he can. And
almost having him, but not quite. I can't believe the determination that Barry's got.
And again, Flair.
Pile driver again.
And it's Barry Windham reversing the situation, and Flair's in trouble. But this match is really beginning to take its toll on both men. Both men have to be tremendously exhausted now. Barry Windham ducks away from it, catches Flair coming off of the lariat. Windham literally crawling over there, and Flair got the foot on the rope.
Flair using those ropes again. Flair right now in a lot of trouble. Barry in total control. Flair probably wondering what is going on. He's given Barry Windham everything he can give him, and he's been unable to beat him.
And the momentum of this match changing back and forth as each man begins to get either a second, third, or a fourth win. And again, Barry Windham in frustration, pounding away at the head of the champion, Ric Flair. And Flair up and over that rope and down on the outside of the ring. Ric Flair hit that turnbuckle, that momentum, the tremendous momentum that was propelling him, took him right over the top rope, right over the ring post, and now Flair catching that ring post and is driven down again.
Right now the referee telling Barry, get him back in the ring. Don't bother him when he's on the floor. But Barry probably saying, why didn't you do that for me? Look at me right now. Barry giving him back a little of what he gave him earlier in the match.
And so now Ric Flair beginning to pay the price. And Windham catches him once again. And now Barry Windham, following the advice of the referee, gets him back in the ring. He wants the champion on his back with those shoulders down.
That's right. He wants Ric Flair to count all the light bulbs in the ceiling. That's the best thing he could do right now. He's after him to beat him. A lot of times you catch your second wind and you just can't be stopped. Like a marathon runner, after he goes through his breaking point, he can run forever. Barry Windham and Ric Flair are almost at that stage right now.
And it is Windham in trouble in the lead, next with a roundhouse right.
Both been severely lacerated. Both almost exhausted and confused. Their bodies are pushing out now. A lot of times they really don't even know what they're doing. They're just going on instinct and reflexes alone.
Windham hurtled through the ropes. And so Flair has tried to turn the tables in Windham, and you can see those eyes rolling. Windham is definitely in trouble once again, no question about it. Up into those ropes once again, and it is NWA champion Ric Flair catching Windham with a chop into the throat. Another chop into the throat. Windham charges through. Up and over his man, up and over the champion. And the champion let fly with a hard right hand to the head of Barry Windham, the challenger.
Barry right now thinking that he was going to be able to take the advantage position, but Ric Flair just a little too strong. Felt him coming, was able to block him. Barry couldn't take him over backwards. And that's the quality it takes to be a world champion.
Off the ropes once again, but this time it's Flair, and he's got the sleeper hold. Ric Flair caught him with a sleeper hold. And a look of quiet desperation on the face of Barry Windham.
Barry's got to get in the ropes. He's got to get out of this. He can't stay there too long. Even if Flair doesn't put him to sleep, he'll lose too much wind to be able to come back. He's got to get out of that hold.
That arm across the carotid artery. And by the way, let me point up right now, leave this hold to the professionals. Please, I implore all of you youngsters who may be watching, don't ever try this hold on your friends. It is a lethal hold. The carotid artery is depressed by the arm. The blood pressure and the blood supply to the brain is cut down. Unconsciousness follows. And that's exactly what... And Barry Windham. A desperation lunge by Windham.
like he was trying to run and passing out on the run. Just enough throwing his weight down to throw Flair into that top turnbuckle. Flair probably thinking he had him beat, and all of a sudden now he's out of his grasp.
And once again the champion after him as Barry Windham brings him up. High vertical suplex. He just brought up 255 pounds.
You can see their bodies bounce when they hit that ring. There isn't much give.
Flair, the champion, still bothered on that one leg. And, of course, he is a past master at well. Wait a minute. Putting that leg on the ring rope, then coming down across the leg. Do a lot of damage to the cartilage and ligaments in that knee. And that's exactly what he did.
Flair right now getting awfully cocky. Thinks he's got Barry Windham hurt. He does have Barry Windham hurt, but I've been in that situation and you think you really got something done and all of a sudden it backfires on you. Flair better stay very intense. He better think about what he's doing, because if he gives Barry a chance, Barry's going to beat him.
He's going for the figure four. The very same hold that Barry had on him. He has got the figure four. And wait a minute, Flair getting extra leverage.
Flair using those ropes, picking his shoulders and body weight up, putting all his weight on Barry's legs. Of course, the referee asking Barry if he wants to give up. Asking him if he wants to give up, not paying attention to Ric Flair. Barry, again, Flair's weight is on Barry's ankle right now.
Flair definitely has Windham here in a world of hurt, and it's Flair continuing to put that pressure down on Barry Windham.
At this point, your body's almost numb. I would venture to say Flair could break Windham's leg, and he wouldn't really know it. You're going on instinct alone. Your body's numb. You don't really feel what's going on to you. They'll feel it tomorrow when they get up and later in the dressing room tonight. But
Windham reversed it. Windham reversed it. Windham reversed that figure four, and the pressure was too much for Flair, and so he broke loose.
Flair's leg, of course, being injured earlier when Barry was able to reverse it. He knew he couldn't stay in there. His leg is hurt too bad to stay in.
Flair up on that top ring rope, and Windham catches him. Windham catches up with him. Full body slam into the center of the ring, and the champion has been stunned. He just tried to get up, and his body refused to answer his mind. And Windham crashes down across the head of Ric Flair. We saw a remarkable thing just then as Barry Windham reversed that figure four. And Windham down, and both knees this time, and Windham has got some problems.
That's the last thing Barry needed after being in that figure four the way it was. Crash that knee into the mat. Of course, he's moving a little better than Ric Flair. Ric Flair's exhausted, he's tired, Barry's hurt. Here's where years of training and dedication come in. Here's where you can't teach a man. This is where their heart takes over. You've got to have heart, and you can't teach a top athlete that. You can teach him a leg dive or a fireman's carry or a suplex, but you can't give him the heart it takes to go when you're hurt. And both of these men are going on heart and intestinal fortitude alone.
Windham caught again by the champion, delivering a hard right hand to the side of the head. Now a snap there. And it is Windham back on that canvas. Flair down 240-some-odd pounds right into the abdominal wall of Barry Windham, and again taking away some more of that precious oxygen.
Flair trying to rest right there. You can see him rolling his head, hands on his hips, trying to get that win. It's unbelievable sometimes if you can just get 10 or 15 seconds to take a deep breath, how it can refresh you at this stage of the match.
And again, Flair driving to the midsection, just keeps those percussions moving and catches him in the throat, and again helping to hamper that supply of air. Lateral press, and again Windham able to get that shoulder off, again barely getting the shoulder off. This has been a grueling but outstanding match between two men that are obviously in the very apex of physical condition.
There's where years of neck bridging and neck exercise come in. Barry able to bow that neck down enough to get his shoulder up. It only takes a half an inch, just a half-inch clearance, and you're not pinned, and that's all it needed right there.
Off the ropes, and the referee, brother, he was hit like a pile driver. Windham.
Crashing his back against the ring apron. All of his weight coming down against that ring apron in his lower back. I've seen serious spinal injuries come from that very move. That's why being thrown over the top rope is an automatic disqualification.
Barry Windham catches him with a drop kick coming off.
Barry's got him down.
He's got the lever press on.
Where's the referee?
Windham trying to get the referee back over there so that he can... and so Windham is trying to show him he's got the champion down. No, sir, the champion got the shoulder off. Utter frustration on the face of Barry Windham. He had the man. He had him down for the count. But what recuperative efforts and capabilities on this man, Ric Flair. Barry, and behind his man, gets the sleeper hold. Barry Windham with the sleeper hold now, and Flair desperately fighting and trying to get away from it. And Barry, I don't believe, got it cinched down quite enough.
Now Barry's got the height to use that hold very, very good. Of course, Flair, a great defensive counter wrestler. He's letting Barry think that he's got it just right, but he doesn't. He doesn't have that arm across the jugular vein. Flair is in some pressure right now. He's feeling some pain, but not as severely as it could be.
And it is Barry Windham continuing to bear down. And Flair
reaching for those ring ropes. So close, but yet so he might.
Scant inches away. And it may be just inches away from a World Heavyweight Championship for Barry Windham. Flair. And again, Flair is able to roll that shoulder away just before the 3 count.
Being able to turn into Windham enough to release some of that pressure.
Barry Windham keeps pressing. And obviously that mind has to be saying, well, it is, and it looks like Windham trying to set Flair. Windham methodically, slowly moving. Flair drove those knees upwards at the very crucial moment. Caught Windham full bore in the stomach.
Right there, Barry, again, thinking that Flair was down and out. Whenever you leave the mat like that, whenever your feet are in the air, you're at your opponent's mercy. Flair able to touch him with those knees.
Windham has him at the end of the ropes.
Flair going for the figure 4, very long and lanky enough. That reach we talked about earlier, long enough to reach up and pull him down and block that figure 4.
Barry Windham back on his feet once again. The champion dazed and staggered, caught with a hard right hand. Windham now forgetting about, and it is Flair and Windham firing back at each other. Brother, the tempers are flying now. Irish whip back into the ring. And the battle continues outside, and now it's Flair trying to get back into the ring. And Barry Windham catches in. And they got up here 6. And the referee calling for the bell. Both men fighting outside the ring, a count of 10. It is all over. It is all over. Barry Windham, I don't think aware of that fact. The bell has rung. Barry Windham back in the ring. And Flair outside the ring. And the referee explaining now to Barry Windham the 10 count. Explaining the 10 count. And we cannot have, obviously, the NWA World Champion outside the ring in the manner in which he was. And it is a very, very dejected Barry Windham and a very tired, a very spent world champion Ric Flair. Windham still can't believe it. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll be back in just a couple of moments, but there goes the champion, Ric Flair. He has kept his title.